What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Kels.
Just in case you forgot, my name is Miguel Perez.
And today we're here with our wonderful friend here.
Yeah, a.k.a. Big George. We got Big George with us.
Yes,
Give a shout out, Big George.
Hey, I want to shout out to all the people out there that ain't got it right. Get it right.
All right.
Welcome to the studio, George.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Phenomenal studio.
Cool.
What's
yeah.
the name again?
We're on Airplay Studio with Frank. Give a
Soon
shout out, Frank.
Soon to be a household word.
You gave a shout out already, right, Frank? You gave a shout out?
Yes. We are Airplay Studios, and we're here to do anything like demos or podcasts, or we even open up for lessons on instruments. So,
There he goes. And there's
Sure.
been an awesome experience here with Frank. Again, thank you for letting us come and do our podcast here. Does a wonderful job every week, Kelton.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
does.
Sounds better every week. I love it. Enjoy it. So if you're interested in recording a song, or like you said, a demo, I called it cassette last time. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but a demo.
we don't do those.
You know what I'm saying? Then this is the guy to come and check it out. He does a phenomenal job. Also, if you're interested in doing your own podcast, we got my boy Kelton over here. Does a great job. He's the one that puts our production together, and I got no complaints. You know, be wonderful.
I do. We just need to remind you that there's no such thing as cassettes anymore.
Well, you know, I'm a little old school. So
I got him last time with that. He was like, if you want to record a cassette, and I was just like,
Hey,
What are
man,
those things?
What?
A Walkman?
I grew up cassette,
Walkman.
but that's why the
Walkman.
show's called Two
that was
Generations
a
because
CD, then they went to CD, and then we don't even do CDs no more.
I
they
know, man. They
They
really
already
went-
skipped holistic things now. We
Back
don't.
then
Who
when
uses
Perez
a
had the
CD?
yeah, back in the day, man. But
There's
you know,
still
hey,
people
and it goes,
recording the tape.
and here goes. That's what's it. Times change, and people need to change with them sometimes. There's some things I'm good with changing. There's other things I'm not gonna change, no matter what. I'm old school. I love it, but there's other things we do need to change. But you know, one of the things I
Speaking
wanted to
about
talk
change.
about this week, it's about accepting responsibility, Kelton.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? So I went to a teaching. Well, actually, I saw it on YouTube. But it's a guy named Miles Moreau. He's a dynamic speaker, and he was talking about. Of course, we're talking about relationships. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm a single man. I know he's a single man. George, you in a relationship? You got a woman?
I've been single for a while.
Man, we're living free out here, except my friend Frank over there. He's the one living the good life with a good woman. So, but in this teaching, he's telling the guys, guys, you complain about your woman not cooking, you complain about your woman not cleaning, you complain about your woman not taking care of herself. He goes, but the truth is, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you chose to be with her. I'll hit the mic. You chose to be with her, and you choose to let her be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing anything about it. So you can't complain to anybody about it because it was your choice. You choose
You
to
allow it
let it be
once,
that way.
it
You allow it
happens.
to live. And and I was thinking about a lot of situations, a lot of problems that we're in today. And the bottom line is, what we're living, it's a matter of choice. You know what I mean? People make bad choices, but they don't want to accept the consequences of their own choices.
You want to blame everybody else for it.
It's everybody's fault. It's my fault. It's your
That
fault. I got fired.
mentality definitely
It's your fault. I didn't do it. It's your fault. I didn't get the job. It's your fault. We're like this, and it's everybody's fault except one, and that's a bad thing. I think we need to get a point to just accept responsibility. What do you think, George?
I agree. But I do have a question. What if, are we just talking about girlfriends or?
general.
Hey, it's open up.
in
You ask
general.
whatever question you want to ask, and we'll go from there.
Well, because if you're married, then I think your choices kind of change. Because you take a commitment and you have to be married. I mean, you got to take that commitment. When you're just with a girlfriend, the choices that you have, I think they're less, how do you say it?
The
They're
world
less,
is your oyster.
they're less repercussions.
Well, no, I disagree because whether you be a girlfriend, okay, when I talk about cleaning, cooking, and be submissive, whatever, that's pretty much falls under marriage category there. Yeah. But even if you're in a relationship, there's still some things that go with that. For example, if I'm in a relationship, my girl's not going to dress, certain ways, you know what I'm saying? And if she decides to do that, then I'm probably not going to be in a relationship. Now, that's my choice, to be in that relationship with the girl that dresses crazy or dresses conservative. I'm more conservative, guys. You know that. You know what I'm saying? So, but it falls in a different category. You know what I'm saying? Marriage is one thing. You're in dating a relationship, it's another. Like, my daughter's big, like, I guess, who was it? There's a girl that's real famous, and she went out to some concert, and she has a boyfriend that's not famous, and she was dressed very sexy, and ended up hugging the main singer, somebody she knew, and it was all over the YouTube that he got upset with her, saying, you disrespected me. And my daughter's like, well, she could wear anything she wants. She's not married to him. It's like, well, no, I disagree. That's his woman.
you shouldn't.
That's his woman.
If you're in a relationship, you still have to get that boundaries. And
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
choosing to step out of those boundaries, sorry, this mic being right here kind of threw me off a little bit. But if you're choosing to step out of those boundaries, then you're putting yourself in a position of losing or winning. Now, sometimes those choices lead to winning, and sometimes those choices lead to losing. We all know that there's one way or another. There's no halfway this way, halfway that way. So whenever you make those choices, say, for instance, that specific situation, when she made that choice, there was a repercussion. It was her boyfriend got upset with her. And no matter how she wants to justify it, no matter how the world wants to justify it, if she was wrong in that situation, she took a loss, it was because she was wrong in that situation. Now, if she was right in that situation and took a loss, it means it was someone else's choice.
Well,
to not allow that kind of influence or that type of actions in that man's life. If he chose, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore because, you're doing this and you're okay with it and you think it's okay, so I no longer want to be involved.
Well, there's two
That's a
choices.
choice.
Yeah, there's two choices there. Number one, I'm pretty sure she was dressed like that before they went. Okay? So why are you getting mad now? That's your fault. You should have right. Hey, baby, you didn't get it
but
out
you
the
don't
door
know what
like
happened
that.
behind the-
That's what we don't know, but there is the power of choice. So number two, just because he says, all right, you could dress like that because I want to show off my woman, she look good, and hey, that belongs to me. Don't mean I'm giving you permission to go hug on anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different story. But who's responsible for it?
I
It's
guess
him.
that's the difference
I think
between
it's
two
both,
generations. As you're saying, your daughter believes that she can dress however she wants, take whatever action she wants, and there's no repercussion. Even when she has a boyfriend saying, hey, I don't want you to dress like that. Obviously, we're a little bit older than your daughter, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
We're thinking, man, she can't do that. That's my lady.
Yeah.
I don't want her to look like that.
I don't want my woman to be disrespected because of how she dresses. And I know how men are, so that's my choice in saying, hey, and I don't really like this, you dressing like that, because, you look provocative, which makes you look single, which makes guys want to mess with you. Now, I get it. Some girls like to say, oh, well,
Don't
do
be
it.
jealous.
I know they'll do the other stuff where they're like, well, I do it for me. But in reality, we all know what you're doing it for. We're not stupid. Men are men, women are women. They like what they like. It's a very, not trying to generalize the two, but they pretty much all think in some sort of similar fashion. And a lot of women want to dress up to look good for men. They don't dress up to look good for themselves because they're not trying to impress themselves.
Well, it used to be like, for example, around Hispanic culture, if you're married and your man walks out that door and his shirt is wrinkled, his pants are not, and he doesn't look good, that looks better on the woman. That's our whole Hispanic culture. That looks better on the woman. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, man, look at his, she don't even dress her man right. Let him go out like that. You know what I'm saying? And then vice versa with the woman. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you just don't allow to happen because it looks better. The man, look at that. Can't even control his man. Again, we talked about the cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. That's your fault. You know what I'm saying? The blame is on you. What do you think, Frank?
I think responsibility is not connected with relationships.
Elaborate, sir. Elaborate.
Okay, responsibility is something I've come to terms with me. Now, that responsibility that I've come to terms with, what my word is worth, my dependability. It just doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend or just a pal or acquaintance or my wife. So, to me, it's kind of immaterial of a relationship. Responsibility, if we're talking about responsibility, that's something that a man does. And that's something that a man kind of comes to terms with himself.
Okay. I don't think you answered the question, but
I think I was preoccupied with knobs.
okay. I don't think you went.
Okay, I might step on that.
Okay,
I think he's
step on
more
the-
on the lines of trying to express, say, each individual makes their own choices. So someone else not doing something isn't on that other person. It's still on that person that didn't allow
Yeah,
it to happen.
that's what it is.
Is that kind of close to what you're saying?
Well, I'll come clean. When we started off, there seemed to be a little bit of difference between responsibilities as per she's your girl or per your wife. And there was some saying that, that maybe there's a difference in generations. But to me, responsibility isn't a generational thing. And if you accept responsibility for something and you know if you do or not, then it doesn't matter if it's girlfriend, it's wife. It starts with you. It starts inside, and it's not whatever relationship is pinned on you. To me, that's just.
I agree. What I'm saying on this part is like, because we're talking about this guy a guy's complaining about a woman not cleaning, not cooking, not doing things, and vice versa. I've heard women complain about their man. He's lazy. He don't want to work. He don't want to help around the house. He don't want to throw out the trash. Again, what I'm saying is these things arise, but whose fault is it? Is it their fault? Because I'm pretty sure you kind of knew he was like that, or you kind of knew she was like that, but you chose to still get in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And to some degree, you chose to marry them.
What you allowed to happen continued.
And I agree with that,
See,
Miguel.
and that's what I'm saying right there. It's a power of choice right there. it's a choice. You know what I'm saying? And you can't blame nobody.
Studio engineer is attacking the camera again.
You can't blame nobody because you chose to allow that to happen. Like, okay, me and my daughter got into a debate with that girl, hugged, got mad. It was all over the media. I said, okay, now he has another choice. Now he has another choice to just accept it, or break it off.
Or
if
the
he
wrong
does
thing
it,
entirely is I can change them.
Yeah,
that's
but whatever he does
episode
is there's still a choice that he has to make. He
But
can't
it's also her choice too. So if she's sitting here, if she's like, well, okay, I see where you're coming from, and saying, okay, maybe what I did was wrong, and I apologize. And he chooses to stay with her, and she chooses to be a little more modest about how she dresses. That would be also another way to do it. But whenever it comes to a relationship, that's where we come together and have conversations and actually make that decision. But if you're just making a decision based upon only yourself and going out into the world in that way, and we're talking more on a dressing provocatively, if you're going out in the world with someone you're in a relationship with someone and you're going out there dressed provocatively, you're making that decision already. Mm-hmm. So if you're choosing, okay, now I see where you come from. I do apologize. I messed up. I see my mistakes. Let's continue our relationship. I will do better to address this situation from here on out.
Yeah.
That's still another choice to be made, but that's where you accept the responsibility as a woman. And as a man, if you're sitting here saying, hey, okay, maybe she's not doing it for them. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I have a little bit of insecurities in my life that's creating this lashing out, so to speak, when it was something simple that may have been just simple. Oh, they just hugged each other. Now, that would be okay. I'm accepting my responsibilities. I overreacted in this situation. I made a choice to say, hey, you know what? I felt this type of way. It happened. Okay, I don't like this, so I'll make sure that I do better. But, I still don't like this, so I need you to also address it. That's how you have a real conversation, and accept responsibility for your own actions. Because these people out here, they're going to be like, oh, well, they...
Yeah, the comments are like, she's free, she can do whatever she wants, we don't like it and all that. And, the other side was like, well, he's the man, he listens to that. I mean, they went back and forth and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think, he was the one complaining.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the choice is there. You're like, okay, I saw another one. I saw a video where it's a wedding. You know how they get the cake and they, and so everybody's around and the guy gives the girl the cake. She bites it and she goes to him and he's about to bite it and he pulls away. And he's like, all right. And then she does it again and again he pulls back. Okay. And again she pulls back. The third time, the guy got mad. He got mad, put her hand down. And you could see it in his face that he was pissed off. And she was like, everybody freaked out. And it was like, poor girl, this and that. And I was like, no, hold on. I'm pretty sure that's not the first time the guy's got pissed off like that. And you're going to do it at a wedding on camera in front of everybody that's looking at y'all do that. And you don't even care. You're going to snap like that. Oh, you know exactly what you're going to get into. It's the girl's fault. That's the way I see it. Because she chose now to marry a guy that she pretty sure already knows this guy got a temper. Because we're talking about marriage here. We're not talking about a guy that just got him, hey, we just met last week and he went off like that. Okay, then, hey, man, no, I don't want that. But this is a wedding.
So I can see that. So that's actually interesting because my perspective in that would be like, okay, well, why is he
too.
why is he acting that way? Why is he reacting that way? So why was his first reaction to his anger, and why was his first reaction of anger to smack it away, to be aggressive?
Wanted that cake.
So when I think about that, the first thing I can think of is okay, maybe this has happened before, maybe this is a constant thing, but is it the woman's fault or is it the man's fault? Because if a man's going to be quick to anger, that's not good.
No,
you
it's
shouldn't
not good.
be with a man that's quick to anger because that's very destructive.
What if he's rich?
I don't care.
Still,
If
okay.
you're choosing to lay in your bed,
Now, here
then
it
you
is.
better make that bed
That's-
correctly.
We gotta stay within the thing is the power of choice here.
Exactly.
People are feeling bad for her. I don't, because she made that choice to marry this man that I know without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that is not his first time reacting that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you just
So
don't.
you're saying it's her fault for allowing it to happen and then agreeing to staying with this man.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Okay.
I think
You
what
follow
I
me?
think-
Yes.
Because
No, that
she
makes
just
sense.
made a vow till
Yeah.
death do his part. This is how I react, but I know that wasn't the first time he's reacted that way. There's no way. But you just made a
And if it
decision.
is, run.
To stay with him.
To marry this, go ahead and marry him. Not like I'm gonna break it off because I don't want that to be part of our life.
So
you
I
follow me
see-
now.
Yeah, because at first I was thinking maybe you were blaming her for like creating this monster.
No,
But
no,
now I see what you're saying. You're not actually blaming her in that situation. You're blaming her in more in the lens like you allowed this to happen. You're consistently, sorry, wrong word, allowing this to constantly happen
you're
in your
seeing-
life, and then you just decide to tie the knot in this situation so you know what you expected.
Okay, I'll give you another example,
Okay.
prime example. And I heard this on a video the other day. And again, I don't bash women, George. I don't like bashing women. Women are beautiful. They're special. They're unique. The Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone. It's better to be a woman. They're created to be helpmate. But this one video, this lady's calling in, and she's just like bashing her baby daddies, plural, not singular, plural.
That should say a lot already.
Yeah. So, and the guy's like, okay, that's your fault. And he's like, what do you mean my fault? It's like, wait a minute. You chose a deadbeat guy with no responsibility, with no accountability whatsoever. And you chose, and I'm going to say it straight out, you open your legs and get impregnated by him. And now you're shocked because he's not being responsible. That's your fault.
You knew he wasn't
chose
responsible from the
to
beginning.
allow this man to impregnate you. You know what I'm saying? And now you're complaining about not only the first one, but the second one, dare I say, maybe three. I don't know. And again, he's right. It's her
and you know what's
fault.
funny? Those type of women, no offense to anybody, but those type of women actually usually end up hating men. And they think all men are pieces of crap, so to speak, or worthless in that manner because of their certain situations that they're in.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or they'll go.
you're
and,
choosing to be in that situation.
They'll go and prey on somebody that actually does want to care for them and chooses, hey, I like this girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of girl she is, but obviously it's not the right girl. You know, if she has multiple baby daddies. But I've had experience with a woman like that. I'm not going to name.
No, don't name names.
Yeah, I won't say no names. But I was
boy's
working with
learning.
her. We're great teammates, and she's got 3 kids. You know, all different baby daddies. She was a great worker, hard worker. She loved to talk. I can carry a conversation with her, but in the back of my head, I kept telling myself, man, she's not the one. She's gonna hurt you. She's not the one. But the heart wants what the heart wants, man. And in the end,
You made a choice.
I made a choice.
Okay.
And I did take responsibility on that, but I did lash out too. I did. I told her, we can't do this no more, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm the one getting hurt.
yeah.
Because she wants to constantly go back to her previous baby daddy. And she ended up getting pregnant again. But, yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but your choice,
And
your
it's
choice
not
kinda
even-
got you away
and-
from that,
And
though.
it
That's
doesn't
good.
even, the circumstance doesn't dictate that she is a bad person.
No.
But it does dictate that she makes bad decisions.
Bad decision. And I still think she's a great person.
And it's a choice. You know what I'm saying?
You can be a great person and still do bad things.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
do it all the time.
yeah,
Prime
exactly.
example.
Yeah,
I-
I've messed up a lot.
I will
It
tell
is
you
what
right
it
now,
is.
and I shared a little bit. I'm not going to go into detail, but you guys know that I was married for 13 years.
Yep.
Woman was great, beautiful, great mother, and everything like that. And I made a mistake. I messed up. And I can't go say it was because I'm not saying she was perfect. She wasn't by far nowhere near perfect. You know what I'm saying? But I can't justify my choice to say, well, I did this because she was like this or she was like that. No, so I was scared. The bag was mine. I dropped the ball. I'm the one that messed up. I'm not going to speak negative about the mother of my children because I messed up. I'll take that responsibility. Yeah. But too many times I meet guys that done the exact same thing, made a real bad mistake, and blame it on them, blame it like that. And I've again, and if that woman is that bad, it's still your fault because you chose to get with them.
It took me a while to realize that because I did that a lot. So, like, one of my previous relationships that I was in, you know, they were extremely toxic and they were very, how would you put it, reactive. It was always my fault on whatever I was doing wrong. I was taking care of the house, taking care of bills, taking care of the family. And because of that, that led me to astray from the house more than just 40 hours a week because I was working 60 hours a week, maintaining, and keeping a roof over everybody's head, making sure everybody had everything they needed. And so, of course, that created a hard stick in my life because I was sitting here working all the time, and that person was staying at home all the time. And they weren't working. They weren't doing anything for themselves. And so they kept messing up. They kept cheating or talking to other people or getting involved in bad situations. And, you know, I would always blame, oh, it's her fault. She's over here doing this. She's over here doing that. She's just not listening. She doesn't care. When in reality, it was, at the end of the day, it was my fault because I was in that situation and allowing it to continuously happen. It was just back and forth, back and forth. It was always a choice. Oh, well, that thing always messes me up. A choice of allowing her to be involved instead of saying, okay, you're not wanting the same goal as me. You're not wanting what I want. And whenever I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then I do things to piss you off because you're pissing me off, and it just leads to conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
So at this point, like, I just keep going back through it, and finally I made that decision. I was like, you know what? We're both doing wrong. I'm doing wrong for allowing these things to happen and doing my reactive things, making these choices to react back to her reaction. But I'm also choosing to still allow her to be in my life. So at this point, I was like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah. What you tolerate will never change. Mm-hmm. What you tolerate will never change. And, you know, and I talked about these ladies having bad baby daddies. Same with baby daddies, having baby mamas that are no good. Oh, she don't take care. Every time I go, the pamper's dirty. They're not fed. They're not even changed. She went out. She left them with just anybody. Again, your fault, okay? Because you chose to impregnate a woman that was responsible in her party scene just because she looked good in jeans. She had the big boobs. She looked hot. You wanted to hit it. It didn't take you but a second, to put a condom on. Come on, I'm going to be real here. You know what I'm saying? Or practice some type of safe sex. You didn't do it. And now you got her pregnant. And now you're mad. Well, she's not like, well, she probably wasn't like that when you got her pregnant.
Well, the good thing is, in my situation, she ended up being a good mom. So I'll give them that every day of the fucking week. But as a partner with me and them together, it just never worked.
You know, but and that's in your case, which is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got off lucky. I'll give them that.
Well, my thing is on the ones that complain. And I guess we're talking about the complainers out there. Why you complain? Because more than half of the time, it's your fault because you have the power of choice. And if you choose to do this or do that, you know, relationships, work, with drugs, you know, poor guy's addicted. But he chose to get addicted because he chose to open that door. He chose to open that door and try it out, taking your chances of knowing how strong drugs are to get to the point where that's all you want. There's a choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's real hard. I mean, I know I'm 51 years old. Right now, I'm not working. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not exactly where I want to be in my life. But I can't blame anybody. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my ex. I can't blame my children. I can't blame the job. I can't blame anybody except me because it's the choices that I made in life that got me where I'm at. If it is up here, great. If it's down here, still same thing. My choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank.
It's all about accepting that responsibility.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah.
The thing is, we need to sit back, and a lot of people, if they take 1 minute just to sit down and really think about life.
Step away from
power
the
of
phone, step away
choice.
from the
Yeah,
the,
stop.
the alcohol, step away from the drugs, step away from anything that is taking your mind away from just being centered with yourself.
Yeah, they called I don't know what this last generation, but there was a generation called "It's Not My Fault" generation, because everything was somebody else's fault. You know what I'm saying?
I probably fall into
And they come up with that.
generations.
They come up with that whiner generation
Yeah,
music too, right?
it's not my fault. The Mendez brothers, just because my parents were abusive. You know what I'm saying? What's that guy, Jeffrey Dahmer? It's because my dad showed me this when I was little. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody's fault. Because if there's one person that's got through the same thing you faced, then it is a choice. You know what I'm saying? You know, no matter what it is, you know, you got molested as a child, and I sympathize with
I
those
will
people.
say one thing
But
about
now
that.
they molest or they make decisions, and it's bad. Well, it's because I was messed up. But if there's one person that got molested and didn't, turn out that way,
And
then
became successful.
yeah, then he shows that you have the ability to overcome. Again, choice. It's what you choose to do. Am I preaching right? Am I just?
it's what you choose
I
to
feel
be
I feel it coming
identified
on.
by. Yeah.
I agree.
See,
and
I
then
got-
the tools that we have out here nowadays,
Yes.
you can look up everything online.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know
YouTube
what I'm
is a
saying?
great resource.
Use your resources.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Resources.
We'll work for food on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? And man, I used to just give so much to those guys, but as time grew up, as years went on, I was like, oh man, a lot of these they're making a choice to live that
I
way.
will say one thing though that I can understand sometimes is like I used to get told this stuff about the war in the Middle East and how they were bad, we were good. There was no direction in it. That was all there was. And they were talking about how kids are doing the actions of what adults should be doing. You know, it's kind of being involved in the war, so to speak. I'm not going to speak specifics, but you
Yeah, I
you
got
kind
you.
of know where I led. And
got you.
if you don't, you should probably do some research. But they would always say, well, they know better. They know better. They should have known. Well, that's the thing, though. How would they know if they were taught one thing?
Mm-hmm.
How would you teach someone to do better if they didn't know any better? If I told you this was right and this was wrong, but in reality, this is right and this is wrong. So it's completely flipped from what you perceive in certain scenarios and certain situations. It's hard to justify that and say, okay, well, you should have known better, because no, not necessarily, but yes, you did have that choice to make that direction of travel and your choices of whatever you did. But at the same time, like, if you were told the wrong thing, say those kids, for instance, they died because of their actions, and they didn't know anything else but what their parents taught them. So, in kind of a weird
So
direction.
the consequences are on their parents. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? They're-
So
again,
sometimes there is somebody else that was at fault. And that's where I can sit there and say, okay, maybe that may not be fully true of saying, okay, well, it's your fault. You made this decision.
it goes-
But if your knowledge was only so far because of the choices of your parents teaching you a certain ideology of whatever religious belief or whatever just belief in general, you're going to follow that at least to a kind of some sort of T, because at the end of the day, that's still your upbringing. That's what you know subconsciously. That's what you're going to react for. It's going to take a lot to change, but that is your choice to make that change. And if you do not choose to say, hey, I want to be better, I'm going to do better, and I want to be better, then that's where you fail. You should accept responsibility for not making a change, for not accepting yourself as, okay, I'm faulting. I need to do better.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with that strongly, because when I was little, my dad used to tell me, Mijo, when somebody bullies you at school or somebody hits you, you hit them twice as hard. You make them remember who they're messing with. And I used to follow that, to the T. Mm-hmm. And it's gotten me into some big trouble. And Miguel, I think you know, it's gotten me into some trouble. And I've had to learn how to hold my tongue, bite my tongue, and just accept that I'm not the boss everywhere I go. Yeah. I can't just bully somebody. You know, I can't hit them twice as hard because it will get me in trouble. You know, so the choices that I make now, kind of reflects on how I want to be. So, I agree.
Good.
I agree with that completely.
But that's good. You realized that situation as it was. You said, I'm no longer going to make these choices. I'm going to accept responsibility for myself and say, hey, you know what? I need to do better. I need to get better. Yeah. So now I see the world this way, and
the-
I need to update my beliefs and my choices.
Yeah, from what you were saying, I took that knowledge from my dad and I stuck with it until it started getting me into some serious trouble. That's when I decided, I can't do that no more.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you, bro. Good
good,
shit.
yeah.
I think
Good
I
shit,
got
sir.
big cheeks. I can turn one. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll give it to him because we work together, me and George here, and we've had some good talks there. And I know he's told me, hey man, I it's hard for me to do like that, but I need to learn how to humble myself and just make. And it's a choice because I'm not the easiest man to work for. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be very demanding, and I know I've once or twice went to George, hey, I need this, I did that, and I might not have been the nicest guy about it. But I think George knows me and he knows my intention behind it, and I know he struggles with that. And actually, it's one of the reasons I kind of poked him sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But
All the time.
but he would just like, okay, yes sir. You know what I'm saying? And he'll go and he'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good thing about knowing a man, though.
Yeah.
Once you
but-
get to the point of actually knowing a man,
That's
amazing.
exactly what I was going to say, because Miguel won't just tell you to do something and not have an explanation for it. He'll tell me to do something, I'll go do it, and you see how that worked? See how it's a lot more easier this way? He'll explain why he told me to do that. Why he told me to do that.
That's good teaching.
But the bottom line, he still had a choice to listen or talk back or not do it at all or do it his way.
Yeah.
Or throw a
You know what
rock
I'm saying?
at your forehead.
You know what I'm saying? But
Small forehead.
But on this topic, I think the power is choice. You have a choice, no matter what type of life. You know what I'm saying? I know a couple where the woman is in charge and the man just sits there. He hates it. So and he talked to me about it, and I was like, dude, put your foot down because it's hard for me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, my mom ran the show at the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I know is to sit back and let them in. I said, okay, well there's two choices. Your dad made a choice to let his woman make decisions. And the consequences of it, as his son don't man up and he lets his woman run the show. Okay, now I said, now you have a choice to either continue in it or put your foot down and change.
There are multiple choices to that situation, though, because my grandmother runs the show at the house.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather runs the show at work or outside of the house. So there's always
Compartmentalized.
yeah, exactly. There's two parts that you can go down the rocky road or the smooth road.
Well, no, it all depends. Okay, for me, I'm old school. Now, I'm not saying I'm like dominant, but I am going to be the head of the household. When I'm talking about the guy's telling me, it means she's the man. He's the woman.
wears the pants.
She wears the pants. He's the woman.
Yeah.
That's a difference between compromising and making decisions together. And okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. I always bought the cars in my house. I bought the cars. I'm lousy when it comes to buying the cars. I buy junk cars, man. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
the one
need you to
time,
fix that.
my wife, she told me, next time I pick up the car, and I was like, you know what? Fine, you pick up the car next time because apparently I'm lousy at it. And she did. She picked it out. Best vehicle ever.
Man's got to know his
Dang it, man!
limitations.
Dang it! So
let her win, bro.
yeah,
You let her win.
after that, I had no choice but to let her pick up the cars and stuff like
Okay.
that. You know what I'm saying? But I decided how we were going to pay for it. Okay, at least so.
I got this limit. That's all.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I chose to humble myself. This is better. This is going to make us flow right. But that's a difference between.
But you made a choice to allow that opportunity to present themselves.
She's there to help
and it ended
me.
up being a good situation.
She's there to be my helpmate, and she helped me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between that and somebody totally turning it. They drive, and you sit in the passenger. God, I can't stand that, guys. I'm sorry. So, but again.
But that's also a personality thing too. If you're allowing that, that means you're used to that, which means that again,
No, it's not a
that's
person.
your
That's
yeah,
just
it
the way
is.
it was. It's the
It
same
is.
as the man walking
If
out
a
on the
man
outside and the girl
allows-
walking on the inside.
if a man
Jump in
allows-
here, Frank. Come on, I know you got my back.
I'm too busy keeping you all on your mic.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
if a
Remove
man
this.
sits
This
there-
this subject is really getting to me
It's
because
great. This is what this is about.
yeah, because I'm serious.
And I
mean,
want them all to hear every word.
people need to take responsibility to their choices and realize when they're in a situation, you got to sit back and think, okay, mind this because I'm choosing to be in this, or this is the way it is. There's some things you don't have a choice in. If company says you got to be there at 5 to start work, then you got to be there at 5 to start work. Company says you have to wear your seatbelt when you're driving, George, then you got to wear your.
Damn it, George!
Then you got your
I'll
choice.
give him this. That was a small ass
It's
seatbelt.
small seatbelt.
Yeah, but still, you know what I'm saying.
That was small on me. And
The company's
a little bit bigger.
Company says you got lunches from 8:30.
And
8:30. What you eat is your business. You got a choice there.
I wanted
But there's
to
some
add-
things you don't have a choice in. Go ahead, Frank.
I wanted to add that since this is relationship centric often, sometimes it's not about owning all the responsibility either. As men, sometimes we choose to take on a whole lot, but it is shared. Your example of, okay, she sees this, she knew it all along, she should have been there. Okay, that's her part that she has to own. Now he's got to own that he's a jerk.
Yep.
Okay, and I think we all that just went assumed here, and some were like, like, wait a minute, what about him? Well, I guess it was just assumed already. We know he's a jerk. That's
Oh,
not,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
not appropriate behavior.
yeah, because the subject is choice.
But she
so,
knows he's capable of that. She knows he's going to do that. She's going to have to accept her part of the responsibility.
Yep.
The
He's
way she
wrong,
reacted didn't seem like she was.
but he's wrong. But she's an enabler. Okay, if you're going to
Yeah.
start getting,
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good way to put
Enabling.
it.
Enabling is the big one. And
Enabling
it's-
is just the same thing as accepting. It really is. It's just the exact same thing, except you're making it worse.
hell, it's not. It goes beyond accepting. I'll agree with you and raise you one. Okay, you're accepting, and now you're helping the other person to do it better.
Yeah.
I
And
remember.
that's problematic, especially in
Indeed.
like addictive situations. So if you've got someone that's addicted to
and,
substance,
yeah,
or
and
addicted
the
to-
relation's bad. Like,
sugar.
yeah, that's
yeah.
a bit.
I'll give one more example. Then we'll cut it off. I don't want to go too long right here. But, okay, I remember as a young kid, I was like 15, 14, and I remember seeing this couple always fighting. I don't know how we knew them.
20,000 years ago.
Man, be quiet. It was many moons ago, but I remember the couple were always fighting. He was always doing stuff, and she was getting mad, and he did something, and she was getting mad, and I thought, okay, well, this couple's gonna break up. You know what I'm saying? This is it, and stuff like that. So one day they had the biggest fight, argued, police came. Okay, they left. 2 days later, I saw him again. It was like, hey, and I was just out of curiosity, how'd it go? He goes, oh, good. We decided to get married. And I was like, what? Whoa. Are you serious? That's your solution? Marriage
must-
does not have a power to change a man or a woman.
All I gotta say
You
is
know?
that sex must be good.
But I was like,
my
are
God.
you serious? She's like, when did he get married? And he was like, okay, we'll get married. And, dude, I mean, they end up getting divorced within a couple of months, but that is not the solution. You were saying that was not the answer, but they made a choice. She
Can't
made
put
a
a cherry
choice
on top
to
of a
marry
shit
this
salad.
one guy. And thinking that the marriage has the power to change a man or woman doesn't. Marriage does not have a...
But it doesn't change the fact that it's still a shit salad.
It does not.
You can't put lipstick on a pig. You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
vice
you
versa.
can, but it
You know,
doesn't change the fact that
it's still pig. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay,
It
good.
doesn't make it a pretty
Which
pig,
which
it's
was
still
my
a pig.
which was my point. You know what I'm saying? And this is women are a little bit more to blame on this, or not blame, but practice this more because they're more emotional. You know what I'm saying? The man, I'm saying they just make these dumb decisions.
We're
You know what I'm saying?
logical. We just don't think sometimes.
Yeah.
we do, but
Not with the right way.
Yeah. But both parties
brain.
do this. So the only thing I'm going to end with this is any situation you're in, you have to look and see what part of it is you allowing it to happen. You know what I'm saying? And
Your
if you do
choice.
not want to change that, you realize you have a choice, then it's on you.
Yeah.
Can't blame it on anybody else.
Everything you do in your life, regardless if it's directly or indirectly from you, it still was a choice. And most of the time it was a choice made by either you making the decision itself or you allowing the decision to be made. And
again,
continue.
you have a choice. You allowed somebody else to make a
So
decision. You know what I'm
I
saying?
definitely agree with that. But you also got to realize sometimes you also have to choose to understand people. And when I started to understand people, I started to realize that my choices were,
you're not so easy too.
yeah,
It's
no,
not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Exactly.
So it was more of a, okay, maybe
It is.
it's a lot of me than it is more of them.
Yeah, it's
I agree.
And that
But-
could be,
yeah.
obviously, but
Wow, obviously, Frank?
Going back to what Miguel was saying when we worked together, me making the choice to humble myself, yes sir, no sir, yeah, I
Made a better opportunity.
made
in
a better
situation.
choice.
And once you make the decision to own responsibility for something, once you recognize that and decide on that, or like Kelton said, once you've decided to understand, listen, people, you give up your right to complain at that point, okay?
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah. But good topic. I think it really was. We're going to be changing it like that.
Great...
But just in case you forgot, my name is Miguel Perez. Our friend Big George here with us.
Howdy, Joe.
My name's Kelton, and our main man behind the stand,
It's Frank.
All right. God bless you. Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you.
God.